a little bit of motivation, whole lot of truth, no financial advice. It is Coachella weekend number 2. My boy JB coming through. That's his track called Speed Demon. I like all of Justin. I don't even care what he plays. I'm on it. So that's where I'll be tonight. I won't be at Coachella. My daughter's there. I'm not there. My people are there. I'm not there. I'm just going to be watching from the TV because you know me. I save my money. I don't spend money. I'm on that little Dicky tip. Sorry, Richard. Sorry. No, I mean the one where he says, "Gotta save that money." People don't know that song. Little Dicky, you guys don't know? Maybe. See, my references might go over your head. I never know. The show's called Monica. I'll let you Google what Monica means. It actually is the title of Jack Harlow's new album. But what does it mean? I don't know. You guys figure it out. Anyway, back to the show, back to you, and back to what we do. Yes, I was downtown Thursday night, street fair night, Coachella weekend 2, all the crew rolling in. And what do you know? We were handing out free stuff, handing out Pokemon cards. I still have a lot to hand out. PSA graded cards, T-shirts, you name it, we handed out. We even followed back around. It wasn't on film. We didn't record this part, but that we did another duplicate interview with the guy named Josh from the UK because him and his lady, Lydia, I believe, we're still sitting at the table at that restaurant at the corner, just people watching. I was like, what are you guys still doing here? They're like, we're just watching the people, mate. Whatever the hell they said. I don't know. Cheerio. Good day, governor. I don't know. I don't have all the languages down, all the accents, but we talked a lot about GameStop. We did, and we talked everything. There was a point there in the video that just published last night. I don't know if you guys saw it, but you should. It's fun. It's fun to do those things. When we're giving away free stuff to the families, the kids, all of them, there's about, I'd say, 10%, 20% of the content that we record that we don't put in the final film for certain reasons, right? There might be a request or there might be one of those things where we say, you know what, we don't want to put that part because of what we said and what we talked about. I had to stop myself during one of the interviews, mid-interview, when the guy says, what's GameStop going to buy? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing stock talk on the street per se. We're just here to promote what the company is, what they sell, and do people know that you can get your cards graded there and vice versa. But if we ever want to talk on the street and say, I thought about it in the moment because he caught me. He didn't catch me off guard. I was like, whoa, he's a GameStop investor? What are they going to buy? And it was like, you see, it's hard for me to answer those questions. And I'll tell you why it's hard for me to answer the questions of what is GameStop going to do in the future, or why does it matter, or why should we have these discussions? Because I don't know why you bought it. There's ulterior motives here when we have conversations and we're on different levels. There are people out here trying to nickel and dime the market, trying to take gains from AMC and whatever other failed investments that they put in front of you. I'll stay out of it. I'm not a day trader. I'm not a gambler. There's the risk to reward is a lot more greater. Is that even correct? I don't know. It's just more when you're buying failed companies, dead companies, private equity investments. You're playing Russian roulette, and a lot of them like to do it. I see Tony De Niro come out. He's a YouTuber. If you guys don't know who he is, he's just a YouTuber that talks about buying the bottom and selling the top and how he takes profit. And I just want to remind everyone, remember that when they tell you these things and they push it out in front of you, just like this failed owning the float kid, Mike, whatever the hell his name is, I'm going to big brother all of them. If you don't know what big brother means, it just, how you get beat up by your big brother just naturally. That's what I'm about to do to both of them. And here's why I'm going to big brother you. I'm going to tell you something. All the gains you want to show on paper today will not make up for all the losses that you took in 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. You can't fake it. You guys fake the fuck. You don't do it right. Being fake and not showing any of your buy orders or any of your sell orders or what you took a loss on the chin on those original investments, don't try to tell me you're winning now. Don't do that shit. It doesn't work for me. We're real. We actually buy the shares, we hold the shares, and then we also, in addition to that, educate ourselves continually. These guys are playing Monday morning quarterback, coming in and buying into a position and saying, it's going to go up 30%. Here, I took my profits. With what? You lost your original investment by a mile. And you still you have no conviction whatsoever in what you guys are investing in. You guys will talk shit about the same investment 10 seconds later. I won't say one bad word about Justin Bieber, Ryan Cohen. They're all the same to me. These guys are legends, living legends, both from Canada, by the way. Shout out to my boys up in the north, Canada. But that's exactly what's happening on the social media front. for all these meme stocks. But let's think about this. GameStop's not a meme stock; it's an actual investment. But with that being said, there's something that I showed you on the charts, and I'm going to show it to you here, okay? Because this was actually talked about on Friday after the market's closed. Now we're not going to talk about GameStop for the moment. We're going to talk about the whole market. So I want to go ahead and show you. You know, the Mag 7. It's a little different. If people only knew why I look at the Mag 7 differently than most. We'll talk about that here. So these are lines, and you'll see it touched right here, okay? This line touched here, and we're about to touch again. But these are lines that give you what we call this needle neck point, meaning it's so top-heavy and it's frail, and you put all this weight on top of it, and it will fall through. There's three things that make this market feel so heavy at 710. One is going to be the concentration of the markets themselves. I've told you that the Mag 7 and or even the top 10 stocks in America on this S&P 500 make up over 40% of the actual weight of the index. When you do equal weighted index, you will see that you're not at all-time highs and or it's not as concentrated because it would be dollar for dollar. So now that you have 10 stocks or Mag 7 really making up the bulk of what this market, it's going to get very narrow. And as the more narrow it gets, the more risk you put on your plate. That's the truth right there. Now, the difference is this. When are you going to see a swing out of this? When are you going to see a swing off of this? This has happened before, and we'll talk about it, but this is not a bullish pennant. This is the furthest thing from it. Being narrow and more concentrated at the top is not good for broader markets, not good for your economy. It's a fake, it's a farce. But what do we know that shows proof of the weakness? The OBV, the on-balance volume, is the weakness. Why? At an all-time high even now, 712.39, that is not an all-time high on OBV. Why is that, guys? Why does that matter? I'll tell you why it matters. Because while the price is spiking and going to the top, the volume is not. That means that this is not true bullish movement. You might have price discovery, but it's at a hedge to whom and for what. I'm going to teach you something about these markets over the last 5 years that I've noticed. But you saw the peak of the market. Now you saw the sell-off. They are rotating out of this shit, and they're protecting themselves all the way through. I'm going to show you. Now, some of you guys hear headlines and think it means something bullish, and it does not mean that. This is your headline. Institutions are loading up on call options at the fastest pace ever recorded. Do you see it here? If you guys do not remember what this means, and I'm be glad to show it to you. I'm going to zoom in actually for you guys here. What this means, this chart, is that everyone's buying calls. And so in the world of like just being a novice or not knowing what that means, you go, well, they're buying calls, Marantz. They're betting to the top. That's not how hedge funds work. That's not how institutions work. Thank you for the 10 free memberships to the show there, Funny Spider. I appreciate you. Just a shout out to everyone here on this channel. YouTube did try to increase the membership fee for the channel to help us improve whatever. They raised the fees in other countries, not in America, and I declined the increase on fees for you guys. So they were trying to ask me if I want to do more, and I said no. Any content creator right now will tell you the same thing, but I think they took the increase. I didn't. I don't want to put it on you that way. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to this, though. I want you to think about it like this. There's going to be a moment right now that you see the top of the market so heavy, that if that 10-year and 2-year, if those treasuries come around and you start experiencing a 5% return on yield, you will see a swing out of the markets and back into treasuries. And when that happens, it's the rotation dollars. But the biggest factor that you see that to give it away is this sheet that I just showed you here. This chart is the biggest thing, is the biggest giveaway you'll ever see in your lifetime. Look at the last time it had a massive increase on the call side was right here, and this was in March to April. Anybody know what happened then? What was happening? The market was crashing due to Trump's tariffs, and they were buying calls at the largest ratio ever. And why, guys? Because hedge funds, institutions, they do that. They hedge. So if they're betting the bottom of the market, they protect themselves with calls. So calls increase when the market's going to crash. That's just what you see. That's been the rhyme and reason of it all. And this being so concentrated at the top, I could imagine them buying protection. It could be from now all the way up to 2 years, but as much protection as they're going to need to swing this to the downside. That's the only way you can pump pump more blood out of this rock, whatever it may be. And that's how tight this market is. You show me, and I already told you guys this. I don't know if I told you guys this, if we talked about this, about where did the money come from? I said, how does the market get to 710 overnight when we've never been past 699? How do you get to 710? And it's like, hold on. You guys don't know what that number means. That number is massive. But it's not just that number that's massive. There's nothing in the markets that actually tells you that PE ratios, think about how far stretched you are from PE ratios. They've increased. When earnings have not increased, yet the ratios have, you're diluting your own investment. You're diluting your own ownership. And this is what has happened to the S&P 500 over the last 4 years since 2022. Valuations came out. And what were those based off of? Earnings. But people don't track and they don't write down is that it's not real earnings. These earnings are via CapEx only. So the fact that the Mag 7 invested money into themselves, that's the only driving indicator that shows you that this economy is booming. It's our own B2B dollar. And I'll tell you what, guys, if the volume was up, if you saw OBV over the sky high, then I would feel safe with the 710. I don't feel that way. I don't, but I know what's going to happen on the rotation out of it. I know how it crashes. It takes one down round. I've been telling you guys this, but at this level, at this peak, at these PE ratios, this is how overvalued the market currently is. No matter what they tell you, they've diluted their own dollar. Executives are selling shares at the rate of the highest that they've ever sold. Insiders are selling shares. So many people are sitting on the sidelines with cash right now, waiting for this to fall over. Who's buying that 710? You are. You are if you're trying to invest into the SPY, into the markets themselves, and it just the number doesn't make sense. The ratio, if I was going to say, we use these metrics, and those measurables are now inflated and or even, like, think about this. What would they say the S&P would grow every year? Let's just say it grows 54% on weighted index. Non-weighted, 90-something%, right, over the last 3 years. It's up 100%, Marantz, since 2022. Yeah, 90-something%. Good. How about weighted? I take out the Mag 7. How much is the market really up? Can I show you? Here's what I'm going to show you. If we go to this, in past corrections for this market, if we go all the way down here, this is the financial crisis here. The financial crisis had the same effect, cause and effect that you see right now on this market. So the dot-com bubble peaked out as a pendulum. This is a needle right here. Pushed out sideways, the needle went up, and there's no holding it until it falls over. There's nothing structural down here that holds it. As it broadens out, like a 22 sell-off, just like 22, then you start pushing it up again till it falls over. Now, a lot of crimes involved, a lot of whatever they want to call it. I don't know if it was the markets and the ratings and the, MBS and all this. But look at this. Stretch it all the way out. Give me a reason to collapse the economy, and I'll show you COVID. That collapse fell through after you saw this in 2018, 2019. If you don't know what happened in 2018 and 2019, a lot of corporations started changing around positions, new CFOs, new CEOs, a lot of them, because they were looking for new leadership to blame this fall down onto what would have been bankruptcy. But nope. So we pushed out so high. It's getting weak again. No structure. Fell through. Got rebounded, got reprinted, fell through. That's going to be Trump tariff news and scares. Now we're pushing out just a little more until you fall all the way back down to this orange line again. That's what's coming for the market. And if you can tell me that we can keep going up, I'm going to show you where the peak is. Peak to trough. Why is it so tight? Why is it consolidating? It's not consolidating for a breakout, ladies and gentlemen. It's consolidating for a fall down, for a breakdown. That's what you see coming on the market, and it's going to happen. It's getting scary out here. Now, not for me. I own the one thing everybody wants. I own the one thing everybody tells you not to buy. The guys who launched power packs, the guys who showed you new wealth, new value. I've got to go out here and turn off the OBV. I plan on doing that really quick. Indicators. Let me turn it off. Boom. There we go. Now, I'm looking at GameStop, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Just wait. I'm prepping it for you because I made some proclamations this week. I want to make sure that you guys see them come true. First, I showed you guys that we were in this downward channel here, but it's actually an upward channel since that 1993. I called it taking us down beyond reality. That's what I thought about 1993. You know how outrageous 1993 was? Ryan Cohen bought in on this next dip that was the $21 range. He knew this is where we're at. You're not coming below this dark green line here. You're just not. We're going to pump. We went ahead and then think about this, guys. We have these breakouts right here. I told you we would break out. We would then treat this like support, but you had your next resistance level at this purple. This purple line here, we get to break out of this zone here. Let me color it for you so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the zone. Let me change the color. We'll go this, and we'll go drawing tool. So this is the zone we're going to stay in right here. And I said change the color, and it didn't change the color. So this zone is where we will stay, right in here. Then we'll break out, and we'll be in this new zone. The new zone is even bigger than you think because we're not using, excuse me, get out of that zone. We're not using this line at all. So this next zone is this big area here. But you have a breaking point to where we still go up and to the right. But right here, right around July is when you have a true, from now into July, a true breakout in this new founded area. But this new area goes up no matter what, all the way to $36 and some change by 2027 mid-year. So and I'm talking about the minimum of this company. There's nothing they could do. And why? Because you have kept it in this zone long enough. We are going to break out, have a massive breakout, and it's coming. So I kept it there long enough. I showed you guys how it works. Hopefully you guys understand what we're looking at. But this is on the weekly. This is on the monthly. It's coming up to the end of the Dorito. We're hitting. We're here. We're now here. Here comes the daily. Went and touched the line like I told you it would. Came right back down. It'll stay in this area until the next breakout, but it's going to use this line as support from here to here. That's your support. So that's a support line. This is your breakout. Get ready for it, okay? Now, some other news that was coming out. I saw this new company called Cerberus AI or whatever. They're the rival of NVIDIA, and they're trying to go public right now, like racing to the public. A lot of companies are trying to race to IPO because they see what's happening on the other side. Funny Spider, thank you for 10 more free memberships, bro. Wow. Thank you for the show. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. I don't know about the Japan news other than what Kyoto tells me because Kyoto lives there. But from what I know, they have their own banking issues going on. And we'll leave it at that for Japan. I'm not really diving into Japan or the carry trade at the moment. So I showed you this chart. I feel they're buying protection because they're loading up for a downfall. They hedge with the calls. They don't buy them to protect themselves. They're going to sell off this whole damn thing. That's how I see it. Next thing was Netflix. Netflix came all the way down on their announcement that they are changing their CEO in July or June, one of the two. I believe his name is Reed Hastings. He's on his way out. So what are they going to do moving forward? Well, everyone's taking their money and running. Isn't this a shocker? Nike. Yes, Nike. The CEO, Elliott Hill, and the Apple CEO, Tim Cook, just bought $2 million worth of shares of Nike at these levels, at $45. I told you guys, this is a great price. It's better than good. If you can buy that brand Nike at that price point, $45 a share, and you understand the value or the devalue of this company, people still wear Nikes, guys. So that's what's happening there. Now here's where we have our conversation. This is one of my favorite charts. This chart here is an indicator of the M2 money supply. How much cash is floating around in the world to invest into the S&P 500. The point is that the S&P 500 relative to the money, the M2 supply money chain, what is the ratio? The fact that there is, in this one over here on your left-hand side, that was the dot-com bubble. When the money supply matched exactly how overinflated the dot-com bubble was, boom, rock bottom. We're at the same level now. This has a lot to do with COVID. This has a lot to do with printing money. You have particularly a large amount of wealth in the S&P now. Is it too heavy? It's like a fat man trying to run a relay. It's not going to work for a lot of people. And I just want people to know that. Maybe I'm wrong. What's that? What is this? Okay. I got this crazy alert. It says in 1930 on this day, the news, BBC The News, reported that there was no news. Hi, everybody. We just want to report that there's nothing to report. And then they played 15 minutes of piano music. 1930. Isn't that crazy? They built these inventions, the radio and the television and the phone, to inform you what they want to inform you of. Are you a slave to it? Well, I'm not. I'm not. I see it coming. I'm like, the Strait of Hormuz is open. Oh, oil's down. Crude down. WTI down. You know, it's, for me personally, do we even get our oil from over there, or is it the world supply? Because, well, you know what I saw? Check this out with the airlines, guys. I saw this with the airlines. I saw a report come out saying that United Air and American Airlines were going to partner up, right? And they're going to take over 40% of all the airlines, blah, 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 antitrust. And then the Strait of Hormuz opens, and flight and airplane stocks go crazy high because, hey, fuel consumption is going to be fixed now because of this out of nowhere. Just that one announcement, boom. And then American Airlines comes out and says, we never wanted to partner up with them. Are you telling me it was a rumor and not the news? It was just shock and awe and just misleading? That's the shit we're trying to tell you guys. You'll read a headline, you'll see it, and then you have to ask yourself, do you believe it? That's what it comes out to. The other headline is that there's the San Diego Padres are going to get bought out by a Puerto Rican and a African-American couple, whatever they are. They're billionaires. Feliciano, I believe that's his name. Private equity. Private equity is buying the Padres. Shout out to San Diego Padres. They suck. And there you go. So they're selling off. Another stat that came out recently was that 52% of young men 18 to 49 bet on sports. Or 48%. The other 52% live in states that don't allow sports betting. No, that's. I don't even know if that number is real. Somebody reported that I read, and I'm just like, man, I know I don't bet on sports. I bet on stocks, but I do it in a whole different way where I actually invest myself. You know, I take the time to do the due diligence you need to do. There's a car in China named Series or something. Series or something. Yeah, that's a car maker. They got a patent to build a toilet in the car out of your seat. Oh, man. I don't know if it's just for number one, but like, if you're doing number twos, bro, how are you going to clean yourself? Like, could you imagine pushing the pedal? And what if you had somebody sitting next to you? Do they want to smell that? Because I don't know how you mask it, bro. These are deal breakers. Don't ever buy me a car where I can take a shit while I drive. Oh, just the visual. I got a visual. I don't know about you guys. China needs to quit this shit. China is crazy for this. But, it's China EV vehicle. Thank you, China EV vehicle. I like the post that I saw right now. I'm showing my wife. It was like outside of like Target or Home Depot or something. They were using the charging stations for the vehicles, but they had them all on generators. So diesel fuel generators, burning fuel to power the electric shit. This is the stupid shit I'm talking about. These are the same guys that come. Do you have an electric generator? What do you mean, buddy? What do you want the plug? You want me to do I have an extension cord for your generator? I don't know what to do with you anymore. None of you. It was okay. You know what blew what blew me for a loop here the other day? This is crazy. And I don't know if it was God talking to me. I didn't know how to take it. But so much features that are useless in cars just to make them inflated and expensive. Yeah, I got you. You sure lit up the kids' place with the Pokemon cards giveaway today, Marantz. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So check this out. Check this out, people. If I don't sound like him, I'm sorry. But I'll do that. Built-in bidets, yeah. So we're leaving the street fair. My wife and I, we come around the corner. And homeless guy goes, hey man, you got anything, bro? You got something I can hold? You got some money or something? I said, nah, man. I got nothing on me. It's like that. And he looked at me and goes, so you're broke. Bro, have you ever had a homeless man look at you and challenge you? Oh, the shit caught me off guard. I had to look at my wife. I was like, am I really broke? Dude, that gets you. The homeless dude said he had the gall of him, huh? He was like, hey man, you got anything I can hold, man? You got some money? And I said, nah, man, I ain't got nothing on me, man. He said, oh, so you're broke. Like that. Caught me off guard. Made me feel a certain way. I was like, damn, nah, bro, but I'm about to jump in this car, get some AC, and drive away. I don't know what you're going to do. My wife is like, hey, you can't be talking to homeless people. I said, babe, you think I'm afraid of homeless people? They're malnourished. They can't do shit. What are they going to do? They're not going to fight me? No, sir. Was it Adam Aaron talking the bullshit again? Renegotiating debt again? Is that it? Tony De Niro pumping that out too? Guys, we got to stop this shit, okay? I'm going to talk to my Discord people. I want to say how childish this is, how unprofessional this is, and I'm not going to stand for it, okay? Every time I open up the Discord, someone's typing and talking about Tony De Niro being gay. Guys, we got to stop this, okay? We do. Tony De Niro. Stage name, Tony De Niro. I don't know. You guys all talk a lot about me as a person. That's fine. My stage name. Marantz is this, Marantz is that. Listen, Tony, I want to say this to you. Straight to your face, Tony. I know you're not gay. But I know your boyfriend is. All right, guys. On that note, I got to get going. I'm going to go watch Justin Bieber because that boy's a bad man. I'll get at you guys. GameStop, Coachella, Marantz Rantz, the show. I do what I want. You know what it is. I'll see you around, millionaires. Peace. I'm a different. We not the same kind. You can have that look. You ain't mine. Hey, it really works, yo. That's the real retro. If you're a GameStop retro fan, you know what's coming our way. Get at me. I'll see you around, millionaires.